This Tomy Eagle Squadron hotshot pilot toy from the 80s is an eBay loft find with some faulty mechanics and some missing parts. But with a bit of time and effort, let's see if we can get it ready for takeoff. This Tomy toy from 1988 actually caught my eye whilst browsing eBay, as it reminded me of the Sega G-Loc air battle game. I used to play it all the time on the Game Gear, and I just thought it looked really cool and I had to get my hands on it. Of course, it was listed as a loft find and spares or repairs. And as you can see, although it's in fairly decent cosmetic condition and it has its controls intact, it is missing the wings on either side. It's got a pretty heavily scratched up screen, and sometimes it doesn't even turn on. So to fix that, I spotted a second one, and here it is. This was also listed as faulty, and as you can see, it's pretty heavily discoloured on the plastic. The blue's got this kind of brown here. It's also missing its controls, so this is snapped off. It's missing its joystick, but it does have a good screen, so it doesn't have any scratches in there. It's got a pair of wings, although I'm not entirely sure if they came from this one, because you can see the colour difference there. And more importantly, it also seems to function mechanically. So the plan is pretty simple. We are going to combine these two into like one fully working arcade worthy toy, and then hopefully at the end I'll be able to tell you all about the game with the aid of a demonstration. Okay, so I have two options: either dismantle them both at the same time, or do like one and then the other one. What I think I'm going to do in this instance is I'm going to start with this one over here, and the reason I'm going to do that is it's even though it's working, it's kind of less complete in terms of the fact that it's missing its controllers, and also I want to end up with the body of this one. So if I do any damage to the body, like getting inside, it won't matter as much. And then what I'll do is, once I've worked all that out and kind of split the parts down, I'll open this one up, move all the parts across, and hopefully get it working. But don't worry, when I do that second one, I'll either time-lapse it or I'll just show you anything that's new or of interest. So before I start going into this one, I'll just show you very quickly with the batteries in how kind of this gameplay is supposed to work. So for the batteries, it takes 4 C-cell batteries just in here. Sometimes these Tomy ones would like take D cells, but it's just C's inside this one. There we go. And what you have is like an energy counter that goes down, a counter over here I think for kills, fuel will move that up, and then on starts this all rolling. And what you have at the top is there's like a bit of a mirror, and it actually scrolls from the top and projects down onto the bottom. So if I turn this on, you can see it's flying along, and then we're moving, as we're kind of spinning, it's moving the road, or whatever you want to call it, left and right. And then you've got the enemy fighters appearing as well. And then when we've got a joystick, we can shoot at them. So that's the mechanism, just giving you a brief overview, and fingers crossed we can have a proper go at the end of the video if we get everything working. So now that I've shown you that, I'll take the batteries out and then I'll head inside. Looking around, there doesn't seem to be the suggestion of any hidden screws that might be behind there. There's a screw there, but I think that's just to hold the joystick in place. So what I'm going to do is, I think it's just going to be these outside ones here. 6, 8, so like 10 screws by the look of it. So as long as I haven't missed any, I'm hoping I can just put this down and lift the top off and expose everything. That's nice and straightforward. And then, wow, look at that. So what do we have? I mean, this is incredible. Look at this thing here from these angles. This is, I mean, that is an impressive piece of engineering we've got. Right, so yeah, what have we got? We have our joystick here that obviously goes through, obviously, goes into this little part here, and that then spins the aircraft round. So it's probably just something fairly simple in the middle. And why does that rebound? The reason The reason it rebounds is because it's on a little spring just there, so you're moving it against the spring and then it's just recoiling into the straight part. And then what else do we have? We then have this counter, which is for the kills. I'm guessing that because there is a reset button. Where was the reset button? It was around, but this is the reset button here. So I guess as you get kills and that moves around, we press our reset button and it just spins. See here, it's just clicking on this part here. So as you're getting your kills and it click, 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 click. When you put it down, it's just literally spinning back because it's off there to wherever its start was. And again, there's just a spring on the bottom. So it's coiled on a spring and it returns there. What else do we have? So this is our select lever for the fuel. Off and then motorizing the game. We won't do anything now because the batteries are out. So all that's doing there is operating on like an electrical switch down at the bottom. So see this switch here, so it's going to do different things. So I guess if we move up to the top, it's going to connect something. So if it's refueling and moving this, that is actioned by this thing up here on a spring. So I'm guessing that basically when it's there, you're just motorizing something until it hits a stop. And then when we go the other way, it's going to send power probably through a different set of cables. So we've got blue and 2 black here. And that's going to go to a motor somewhere that's just going to scroll our screen through. Now, as we're going along, I guess a little bit like the Tomy dashboard, this thing is going to be moving left and right, possibly to do with whatever's turning. There might be a little mechanism that moves this left and right on a spindle. I'm not entirely sure yet. The usual thing, there's a light bulb on there, so very similar. And then what have we got round at the back? So we've got all of this kind of stuff with another little micro switch which is being made. I'm not entirely sure what that's doing at the minute. So what's operating this? So this is the if you shoot something. So this has got to be when you kill something, there must be a way for this counter to advance. Something must turn that like that. See here? Yeah, so every time you get a kill or fire, it's literally dragging it along. And then you'd reset here. So also as we're moving this, what's that going to do to the micro switch? Yeah, look, it tags that micro switch. So I wonder if that then maybe signals a sound effect, like an explosion or something like that. So now that we've had a little look at that, why don't we apply some bench power into the bottom and then just see everything in action, see all this motoring, and it might give us a bit of a better idea of what's moving what. So it's 4 D cells, so we're going to want 6 volts into here. Heart attack then. Right, nothing moving there though. Let's try with the batteries in, just in case I'm doing the wrong thing. That's really weird, just one battery operates the motor, so must be like 2 different circuits or something. Second battery is not doing anything. Third battery, nothing. Let's see if the 4th battery now gives us the light. There we go. But let's have a look. So this is our refuel. This should move, which it does. This little spindle, see here, look at this turning here. And then at some point it's got to stop. Something's going to tell it to stop. There it is. So I'm guessing it's supposed to click like that to tell you it's full. So let's see if we were now flying along. So in fact the background looks like it's driven here. See there, that's now also rewinding the map all the way backwards. There's a fire button that lives in here, and when you fire, it's pushing this part forwards. So let's see what happens with that. Wow, there's little lights light up as well, look at that. So yeah, as I push that forward, look at this mechanism jump. But what's clever, and I'm not entirely sure what's going on, is if it hits something, then you get that noise, and if it doesn't hit something, you don't get the noise. So there must be a way in which it knows whether or not it's hit an enemy. In terms of replacing the joystick and things, it's literally just held in by a screw, so you could unscrew that and replace it, but this bit here, is that removable as well? So yeah, that just comes out as well, so that's fairly easy to replace. So if we just clean up this one, and by that I mean, like, let's not get silly, let's just kind of air can a lot of the dust out and just like have a general tidy up. And then what we can do is simply just replace these two bits and move the plastic over and put the new housing onto this one instead. So I think that's what I want to do. It's just whether or not I can get this bit out. So I think I probably can by removing there. Let's just do that. Can this now come out? It can, look at that. So it's on a spindle with a long spring, and that's the thing that returns it back to there. So if we just take that off, I can replace this one because it's got this pencil on here and it's kind of coming away there. I'll clean everything up now, and then I'll open up the other one off camera and I'll start moving the parts over to here because it makes much more sense now. And then what I'll do after is I can just have a quick look inside and see if I can just tidy that up. So what I want to do now is a little test of something. So I noticed the stickers on this other one peeling away a little bit, and I want to see if I can like re-stick them down. So I'm going to take the opportunity to just experiment on one or two of these. I want to put my heat gun on like quite a mild heat, see if I can melt the glue without damaging this and peel it away. But yeah, that's what I'm going to do now. So plastic front out of this one here. Simple as that. So I've got my soldery workstation fired up, and this is at 100 degrees and like maybe about 50% airflow. So I'm just going to see if I can just warm up the glue that's behind these labels. I'm thinking like kind of a heat and peel technique. Maybe it needs more heat. This is why I'm practicing on this one. Let's try like more airflow, and let's try like 120. Okay, so not as easy as I thought. We've lost a little bit of the backing in a couple of places. As I mentioned, look at the colour difference there from the sun exposure. But now that we have taken that off, what I can quickly do is just test like the reapplication process. Right, so that's all prepped, and then I'm just going to spray this off camera because it's horrible stuff. So I'm going to get a piece of cardboard out and just try and get it over the back and then carefully stick it down. Let's see what happens. Oh, I can see what I mean. It gets everywhere. Okay, so that's it back on. I don't know about you, but I would suggest that's probably not the finish that we're looking for. So rather than attempt to do that with the labels on the other one, I'll use the alternative which I've used in the past, which is kind of just putting some very thin double-sided tape under any of the corners that are lifting just to flatten them out again. Having just said that, I noticed on here that this is in the wrong place, this Eagle F1 sticker. So this is going to need moving down here onto the front where it's supposed to be. So we can at least use some of the hot air to help remove this. Before and after. So there we go, and believe me, it's been a lot longer in real life. I've both cleaned it by hand and like some of it in the sink with hot water as well, trying to avoid the stickers as much as possible. So the colours have come up all quite nicely now the dust has gone. I've also reaffixed as best as I can. So like the nose, this was probably the worst one just here, the nose there. I've moved the Eagle F1 down onto here. I've tidied up these ends here, and then I've put the other screen back on. Like I mentioned, I just could not get rid of whatever this kind of glue was, but this screen is still much better than this one. Even if I polished it up, just seems like a little bit more discoloured than this one. So I'm going to stick with this, and I'm pretty sure when everything's lit up and moving, I won't be drawn to that. So the next thing to do is basically put this back on and move into the testing. And here it is all put back together, and I hope you'll agree, I think it looks absolutely fantastic like this. It's the first time we're seeing it complete. I've also put the wings and the joystick in place. I just think it looks great, and it's ready for testing to see if this Eagle Squadron is ready to take flight. And to do that, I had a quick check of the instructions to make sure I wasn't missing anything, just some printed ones from online. Everything that we already knew in terms of, we've got the fuel, off, start, etc. But one interesting thing was it says choose the high or low speed on the 2-speed control, and points to a control that apparently is supposed to live over here on the left hand side, but I certainly can't see one, so I'm wondering if it's a feature that they intended on putting in but then maybe cut later on. So let's have a quick look at those features. We know it's like the mission is on a big piece of film and it rolls one way or rolls the other way, and that's what moves the fuel up and down. So if we go this way, it's basically just rewinding to the beginning with the light off, and we can see the bar moving up here. And you'll get that clicking that's totally normal. And also you'll sometimes see this, it will just slide back ever so slightly. And that's just because it's really tightly wound, and then it's just releasing a little bit of tension. Again, it's supposed to do that. And then when we go on, everything moves forward this time. So it's spooling this way. We've got the lights and the sound. And then we move our aircraft with the joystick. What that's actually doing is moving the film, the light bulb inside left and right to give the illusion of the tray moving. And then you've also got this, movement as well on top. Works really well. So add and remove the joystick, hold really firmly, and you just kind of click it forward. Once you've done it once, you'll understand, and then you'll just kind of reseat it in there. So when we shoot, we'll get those white firing markers, and then when we hit something, there'll be like a red explosion. So let's have a look at that. And in fact, we'll have a look here. So the counter, we do that, reset it all the way to 0, fly along. Here's that movement that's really nice. There's the white firing marks, and then we time it right. Don't know if I caught that on camera, but there's like a red explosion mark that comes up. And if we have a look at our counter, we can see there's 1 kill on there. There's a little bit of a skill with getting the timing right. You're looking for about 1 centimetre from when it's just appeared. If you do it too soon or too late, you won't register a kill. If you are wondering about the other one, it's looking pretty sorry for itself in comparison. Here it is. It's like all the worst of everything compared to this one. It does still work, because even though I haven't serviced it, I did basically just clean up the kind of selector in the electrical contacts. So you can see it refuels, the counter works, and you can also fly along as well, and you could maneuver it like this. The only thing is, if you want to shoot, you're going to have to push something inside to kind of do the firing, which isn't great. So I'll work out what to do with that. It'll probably sit around for spares for a little bit, and then I'll possibly just give it away. So now that's all the testing complete, there's really only one thing to do, and that's to take it on one final complete mission to find out if I am a hotshot pilot, before we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Okay, so for some added excitement, I thought I'd fly this final mission as a night mission. We're fueled up, we're on the carrier, it's about to go dark. Let's see if I am a hotshot pilot. And there we are back on the carrier. It felt pretty good, especially getting a few of those fighter jets at the end. So let's see, did I get the 34 kills needed to become a hotshot pilot? I did. There it is, the star. Absolutely brilliant stuff. I'll see you in the final summary. Okay, so there we go. And I hope you've recovered from the excitement of that combat mission I just flew. So what did I think of the Tomy Eagle Squadron hotshot pilot toy? Well, it did not disappoint me. From that initial sighting on eBay to where it is now. I think it's fantastic. The fact that you have this really large scale device that makes you want to think it's like an arcade, the moving figure on there, so the mixture of that moving figure and then the way in which the screen rolls over the top, it doesn't use any mirrors or anything and it's just projected down, is really good. You know, the joystick, everything just works really well together. And I've got to say that turning two faulty ones into one really nice, fully working one was a really enjoyable challenge to do. But let me know what you thought about this Tomy toy. Is it one that you played with growing up, or is it something you've seen now and you'd like to add it to your collection? I'll be back soon with more retro restorations, but if you can't wait, you might like to check out the video that's going to pop up there on your screen now. And until the next one, all the best, take care and see you.